Hello, friends, and welcome back to the new episode of r/IDontWorkHereLady. Today, we have a couple more excellent news stories waiting for us, and we'll start with a little story to warm you up. WTF, Melissa? A friend of mine gets a 3-day eviction notice on her door. Turns out her landlord hadn't been paying the mortgage. The bank had been leaving notices, and her roommate, since they didn't own the place, had been throwing the notices out. A lawyer advised her to go to the courthouse and get a 30-day delay so she could pack her things. She doesn't own a car, so I drove her to the courthouse. Neither of us know anything about how the courts work, and we're trying to figure out where to get the right paperwork. There's an open area near some stuff that looks like a teller's window with a bar-height table, half a dozen chairs, and 2 computer monitor/keyboard pairs. There's an older woman sitting there, well-dressed, with a big stack of paperwork, some pens, and a clipboard. We see her telling someone where to go pay a fine. So we figured she must work there. We ask her, and she gives us lengthy instructions about what to file, how to file it, and even directions to find the relevant places in the courthouse. I ask her name, and she says, Melissa, and we both thank her profusely. We then proceed to find out that every single thing she told us was wrong. What paperwork to get, where to get it, even where the office that hands out the forms is located. So perhaps 45 minutes or an hour later, we're trudging through the place to go pay some filing fee, and there she is, still camped out at that table, telling someone where to go to bail someone out of jail. This was about a year ago. Ever since, my friend and I will refer to someone going out of their way to do something stupid with, WTF, Melissa? Well, I hope your friend was allowed to stay for a couple more days. Let's move on to our next story. My turn to pull in I Don't Work Here, Lady. I guess it's good that I'm not easily embarrassed, because I did it. I was the lady today. I was in Bed Bath & Beyond today looking for this thingamajig because my mother saw it on the BBB website and she needs a new one. I thought she could get a better price with a BBB coupon, so I was poking around the kitchenware section and couldn't find it. Said to myself, I should just ask an employee. So I looked down the aisle and saw a fellow just standing there wearing black slacks, a black polo, a lanyard, and some variety of badge on it, and a name tag. So I walked over and asked if he by any chance knew where I could find the egg cooker. Sorry, ma'am. I'm just the insert brand name appliance salesman, but let me see if I can find an employee to help you. I looked closer at his shirt, and indeed, it had brand name appliance embroidered on it in bright white letters. Oh no, I can't believe it. I just pulled an I Don't Work Here Lady on you, I exclaimed. And would you believe he grinned and asked, like on Reddit? And our next story. The time one of them actually got to speak to the manager, and it was my manager. This happened a couple of years ago, but I was reading an Ask Reddit thread that jogged this memory to come up. Anyway, I think it was maybe 2016-ish, and I was working as a receptionist at an office. My boss/owner of the business was actually a very good friend of mine that I'd known for a really long time. Anyway, she would occasionally give her employees gift cards to different places to buy some more work attire, as the dress code kept changing as the business did. I took mine and set out to Target. I was in the fitting room trying on some stuff when I hear what sounds like a stern, angry bee talking. When I come out, it is in fact a stern, angry bee talking. She's standing with who I assume is her daughter in front of a mirror that was in the hall of the dressing room area, but not in the room itself. She basically was railing into this poor girl who couldn't have been more than 13 or 14 about how if she lost some weight, clothes might actually look good on her. This lady was actually pretty big herself. Not that that's bad, but hypocrisy and mental abuse is. The poor girl looked defeated, and I kind of watched them as I handed my items I didn't want back to the girl working and said something along the lines of, man, some people suck, in a voice that I thought was pretty low. I guess it wasn't. The bee thought the girl working the counter said it first and started to go after her. I told her I said it because that girl didn't know me and didn't need to lose her job over me. I mean, I'm sure you can guess what happens next. She wants to speak to my manager. I try the whole I don't work here thing, but her rebuttal is that I obviously do, am obviously here on my day off, and should be reprimanded for being rude about a customer to my little friend. Not that I wouldn't be friends with the girl working there, she seemed lovely, but we'd never met before. To my knowledge, anyway. I was about to tell her that when a new idea dawns on me. Yeah, you can talk to my manager, I tell her. I get my phone out. I just have to call her because she isn't here today. Entirely true. My manager was at home that day getting ready for a party I was later attending at her house. I call her, she answers, I say, "Hey, I have someone here at Target demanding to speak to you." There's quite obviously some confusion on her end. I just hear an "okay" before putting her on speakerphone. I'll be damned if a stranger is going to press my phone against their face. "Okay, you're on speaker." Immediately, B-word McBeepants starts telling her how awful I am and what I did, and is also adding spice that's awful that no manager is on the floor to deal with this situation today. My boss started laughing hysterically, which made B-britches even more angry. Well, if you ask for a random person's manager, don't be surprised that they don't work at Target, you idiot. I lost it at this point, too. I apologized to the nice young lady working the rooms, put my phone to my ear so I could laugh it off with my friend/manager, and started to walk away. Of course, Bienstein is still yelling at me because I'm awful and I see what I assume is an actual manager coming over to the rooms. So I tell my manager I'll call you back and head back to see what lies she's trying to spin, and also try to make sure she doesn't accuse the fitting room girl of anything. Lo and behold, she was trying to blame the girl and started yelling about that B, me this time, coming back and I should be punished too. Luckily, the manager saw me and immediately says, "I've never seen her before in my life. She doesn't work here." Angry lady says she can't deal with her lies anymore, grabs her poor, embarrassed, beyond all reason daughter, and is walking away. The manager apologized to me and the employee, but it's not like I ever blamed him. He was super kind. Once I got to my car, I felt bad that I didn't give the daughter the rest of my Target gift card, but I knew there was no way I could have. So I called my manager back and just about died laughing at the situation. Employees don't know who I am. Context. For the last 7 to 8 years, I've worked at a paintball park, and I know a decent amount about paintball overall. Well, the last 4 years, I've only worked at the park during summers since I'm gone the other 8 or 9 months for college. The turnover rate is pretty high, so there's always new employees. Bit of a long one, my apologies. Hopefully this fits the subreddit. So this happened roughly 2 years ago during my first weekend back at the park. I just got back into town 3 days earlier, and my friend, who's the manager, needed some extra help, so he calls me in. I didn't realize they had new work shifts, so I showed up in a hoodie with the paintball park's name on it, so I'm at least wearing something that has the name on it. Manager takes me to a couple other managers and introduces me to them, saying, when I'm not here, he's basically me for the day and should be able to answer any questions you would have for me. With that being said, I'm an unofficial manager. A majority of the employees, though, don't know who I am, which is normal. This always happens. However, there were about 5 to 8 of them who were on some kind of power trip and were trying to stiff-arm me because they worked there for 8 months. 2 of them were managers. In my eyes, they weren't managers because they're in charge of a small area, the equipment area where customers can rent out gear, but they pretty much had no authority over anyone. I'm working doing my thing, and I had one of these guys come up to me and try to give me a crap job which I already knew wasn't going to fly. It sounds pretentious, but I'm the only one who can handle big groups because I've done them all the time, so he kicks me off a group to go do trash. I said whatever and started doing trash. The assistant manager, who I trained years ago, and the manager both asked me what I'm doing. I told them what happened, and they both got upset that someone felt compelled to do that. An hour later, someone else was trying to tell me how to fix guns. I told him I didn't need his help, but thanks anyway, and he still kept trying to tell me what I was doing wrong. I told him, no, this is how you do it. The equipment manager came over and asked what I'm doing. I told her a gun was broken and I'm fixing it. She told me to take it to the main manager because he handles all fixes. I told her I already talked to him and he said it's fine. She then radios him in front of me, staring at me, and asks him, "Hey, insert my name, is trying to fix this gun. Did you give him the thumbs up?" He said yes, so she just hovers over my shoulder to see if I mess up or not. At this point, I'm getting annoyed because everyone is trying to tell me how to do my job or what I'm doing is wrong. So I grab the 7 or 8 employees trying to stiff-arm me and pull them into the main building. I go to the assistant manager and ask him, "Who trained you?" He points to me. I ask the main manager, "How long have I been working here?" He said, "I don't know, 7 or 8 years?" I look at these 7 or 8 employees, all their eyes are wide open. I said, "We got off on the wrong foot. You don't know me, and I don't know you. That's okay. We'll get to know each other. But please don't boss me around when you don't need to. You've been here less than a year." The main manager said he was sorry that happened. I said, it's all good. And he just said, float the park and help out wherever anyone needs some help. Basically, do whatever you want the rest of the day. I just want to say that the way you handled this was by far the best approach that I've heard in similar stories posted here. You're a class act. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.